Hello and welcome to Free Lunch here at Zacks. I'm your host, Ben Rains. Stocks plummeted on Monday and trading was halted for 15 minutes shortly after the opening bell for the first time in 23 years. Overall, the Dow fell 7.8% and lost over 2,000 points in one session for the first time ever. Meanwhile, the S&P 500 sunk 7.6% for its worst day since 2008, and the Nasdaq dropped 7.3%. In fact, all three major indexes nearly entered a bear market territory yesterday as they fell close to 20% off their recent highs. Meanwhile, the yield on the 10-year U.S. Treasury note tumbled to a new historic low of below 0.4%. Stocks did bounce back Tuesday, up over 3% in early morning trading, but all three major U.S. indexes began to slip closer to 1% gains on the day, and the Dow and the S&P 500 fell into the red as of 11:30 a.m. Eastern. Oil prices also popped over 7% after they suffered their biggest drop since 1991, with the U.S. benchmark prices down 25% to $31 a barrel on Monday. Plus, the fight between Saudi Arabia and Russia has put a ton of pressure on U.S. oil and gas firms. Since the financial crisis, U.S. shale firms have helped the U.S. become the world's top oil and gas producer, but that rise meant taking on a lot of debt. Wall Street is now worried that debt defaults are likely, and companies might also start to have to cut back on drilling and slash jobs if low oil prices remain for too long. Meanwhile, on the coronavirus front, Italy on Monday placed the entire country under quarantine in an effort to curb the spread of the virus. Overall, confirmed cases have hit 115 countries and regions, with the total number at over 115,000. Meanwhile, more than 4,000 people have been killed by the pneumonia-like disease. Cases in the U.S. have slowly started to climb as well, with the total at roughly 750, which includes 26 deaths, mostly in Washington state. And steps are being taken to slow the spread in the U.S. At least 12 states have declared a state of emergency, and local officials have encouraged vulnerable populations, such as those over the age of 60 or with underlying medical conditions, to stay at home and avoid large crowds. Plus, U.S. lawmakers passed an $8 billion emergency spending package last week, and President Trump said his administration would discuss with Congress several measures to ease economic pain, including a possible payroll tax cut and help for hourly wage earners. The White House coronavirus task force is set to hold a press briefing at 5:30 p.m. Eastern today, and President Trump and Vice President Mike Pence are currently discussing the coronavirus with health insurance CEOs and leaders. And the coronavirus has taken its toll on airlines already. The industry faces now its biggest downturn since 9/11. The International Air Transportation Association estimated that the virus could reduce passenger revenue worldwide this year by between $63 billion and $113 billion, or as much as 20%. American Airlines and Delta both said Tuesday they plan to reduce their number of flights, and Southwest CEO Gary Kelly told employees that he would take a 10% pay cut as the airline faces its worst downturn in decades. And that does it for the news portion of Free Lunch, but stick around for today's new Zacks Rank #1 strong buy stock.
For today's tech tip, we will be answering one of our most common customer support questions. How does one sign in to their account on Zacks.com? On the Zacks.com homepage, you will find the Sign In button in the top right corner. Fill in the email address associated with the account in the top bar and type your password below. You may also check the Keep Me Signed In tab, which will keep your account logged in for up to an hour of inactivity. From there, click Sign In, and you are good to go. Have a question about using Zacks.com? Send us an email, and we might answer it next.
Welcome back to Free Lunch. Today we're breaking down why Lennar is a Zacks Rank #1 strong buy stock. Lennar is one of the nation's largest home builders, and the firm topped our Q4 earnings and revenue estimates in early January. Meanwhile, home builder confidence remains right near its all-time highs that it reached in December. Plus, in January, sales of newly constructed homes in the U.S. soared 7.9%. This marked the highest pace of new home sales since July 2007. And mortgage rates rest near their lowest rate in 8 years, which is also near all-time lows, and down big from November 2018's 4.9%. They currently rest at around 3.2% on 30-year fixed-rate mortgages. So now we're going to jump into Lennar. As I mentioned, they're a home builder. We'll just take a quick look at their website. They build newly constructed homes around the U.S. In 2018, they brought in $20.6 billion in sales, 45.6 thousand homes built in 2018, and we'll quickly look at their 2019 earnings report real fast just to give people a sense. So the revenues were up 8% to $22.3 billion. Deliveries of homes up 13% to 51,491. New orders up about 12%. So you get a sense of just how big the company is as well. And now we're going to go ahead and take a look at their stock price movement as well as their valuation. So we can see that they were up on a solid run until things started to take a downturn in the market over the last month or so. So they're now up about 14% over the last 12 months, which is above that construction building services market average. And then we'll just take a broader look over the last 5 years. We can see that the company has traded pretty much right around that construction building services market average, which fluctuates up and down. That's just kind of how the market works for these home builders. And then we'll take a quick look at its valuation. This is in terms of forward 12-month earnings. We can see that Lennar, which trades in the ticker LEN, is trading at 8.7 times forward 12-month Zacks earnings estimates, which is a pretty significant discount compared to its industry at about 9.9 at the moment. And we can see that that valuation has come down significantly over the last month or so as the stock price has fallen as well. And now we're going to go ahead and take a look at what to expect going forward. So we can see that in the current quarter, which is Q1 of 2020, we're calling for about 10.5% sales growth and 12.2% growth on the bottom line to 83 cents per share. Significant bottom line growth coming expected in Q2. Overall, for fiscal 2020, we're calling for 7.8% bottom line growth and then another 8% growth in 2021. Slightly less growth on the top line we're calling for this year, about 1.7% growth to $22.65 billion, and then another 5.4% growth we're calling for that next year, all the way up to $23.86 billion. And then we can see for their longer term earnings estimate revisions, they've climbed from 90 days ago, they were at $6.03, all the way up to $6.19, though they've dipped slightly in the last 30 days, but they're up big over that last 90-day period. And then we can also see that they were at $6.55 per share for 2021, all the way up to $6.69 per share. We could also see that the company over the trailing 3 periods has easily topped our bottom line estimates. 12% last quarter, 20% the quarter before that, and then 15% before that. And then along with this positivity, the company does pay a dividend. It's yielding about 0.9% at the moment, which is not super high, but it's now almost doubling the 10-year U.S. Treasury note. We should also note that the company has an A grade for value and rests in an industry that sits in the top 4% of our more than 250 Zacks industries here. So that's that building products, home builders. Overall, it's a Zacks Rank #1 strong buy stock. And we should also note that they are set to report their Q1 results on March 19th. So looking ahead, so obviously with the market going in and out, some people might want to stay away from stocks at the moment, but certainly it looks worth to be considering Lennar at the moment for all the reasons we've already touched on. And that does it for today's episode of Free Lunch. Make sure to also check out our new Zacks.com/promo page for a look in some of our services, portfolios, and more. Also, make sure to tune into Paper Traders, which is live at 11 a.m. on Wednesdays. Once again, I'm your host, Ben Rains, and we'll be back next time with more up-to-date market news and a new top stock pick.